Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For my 4 subscribers, hey, how you doing? Thank you. If you're new to my channel, Brassy Black Sheep, I'm Zelena, aka you can call me Z. So in today's video, I want to talk about a video that I came across on YouTube, and I've seen it a couple times. And it's a video about a student that kind of sounded off on his teacher. The guy's name is Jeff Bliss. And I'm late, so I thought this was something that was kind of new. And apparently this video was recorded 8 years ago when he was in high school. He was a little upset and a little irate. I don't blame him one bit. Jeff, my hat's off to you for having the courage just to say what needed to be said unapologetically. You might be a black sheep too, so kudos again to you. But the reason why I found it interesting was that the dynamic of the teacher who is in a position that requires her to instruct, right? So you have students that are trying to learn and they need instruction. So it's incumbent upon the teacher to provide that instruction. And I found it interesting because in thinking about work scenarios, it reminded me so much of many work scenarios that I have found myself in, that I know friends of mine have been in, where you're in a situation where you have a manager or a supervisor who is there and you're learning something that's new, and their job is to instruct you. And what they want to do is, to throw some papers at you. You read this, you learn, you teach yourself. But like he said, everyone doesn't learn that way. People learn differently. And I think that's one of the reasons why we fail in regards to teaching, because our approach is that everyone learns the same way, and everyone doesn't learn the same way. Some people are visual learners. Some people are auditory. They need to hear it. Some people need to model, hand modeling. They learn by doing the task, okay? So people learn differently. One of the things that managers need to understand is that in order to ensure that an employee is receptive of new information, you have to understand how they learn. Now, I'm going to cut there. Her apathy. So clearly you have a student in front of you that is upset. And instead of maybe getting up, pulling him to the side, having a conversation, or even acknowledging the fact that he's upset, her response to him was just to get the hell out of her class. Just get out, just leave, just leave, just leave. And employers are the same way. This is the way we do it. If you don't like it, you can just leave. And I find that humorous because in April of this year, 4 million Americans quit their jobs. I am one of them. And people quit for different reasons, but typically the main issue behind someone leaving is because they either are not being treated the way a human being should be treated, or they are having issues with their workload, and they're not getting understanding from management regarding the amount of work that is required of them, or their culture is just toxic. And all of those things fall on the head of the person that is steering the boat, which is typically going to be your manager, whether you're managing a unit, a division, or an agency, right? I come from the public sector, so that's why I speak like that. But if you're in the private sector, it's the same thing. I think the problem that we have is that people stay too long. So when you've been doing a job for a long period of time and you're doing the same thing over and over, at some point you either get burnt or you just kind of become numb, right, to what's going on around you, because it is the same thing day in and day out. And what I found is the higher that people go up the echelon of positions or ranking, whether you're in private sector or you're in public sector, the more distant they become and the more disconnected they become from their employees, their front line. And as a manager, it's your responsibility to stay engaged with your employees. If you are someone who is not engaged, you are someone who does not effectively communicate with all of your staff, you're not someone that checks in, if you're not showing emotional intelligence, showing that you care, if you are someone who is apathetic and you don't really concern yourself with the issues that someone may be going through or the hardships that they may be facing, then I don't know what the hell you're doing in your position as a manager. You don't need to be leading anything. Managers lead. I don't even like the title manager, because, they say, oh, you're managing people. No, you're not managing people. You are leading people. You're at the front of the boat, okay? Or the top of the boat, ship, however you want to look at it. Your job is to steer through difficult times, through great times, and to lead. When your people see you every day, it should be a smile that comes on their face. Here she is, here he is, I'm gonna be good, they got my back. People in positions of power don't do that. They stay there, they're trying to ride out the wave to retirement. They want to make as much money as they can so that they retire. They have the highest possible income egg coming in every month. And they simply are disconnected and not engaged and do not care really about what's going on within the culture. They don't concern themselves with that. And so when you have people like that are in positions of power, that's a problem. I don't know so much. Private sector is all about who you know. They say it's who you know or who you blow, right? In the public sector, once you've been in an area or a unit for a period of time and you do okay, you come to work on time every day, you don't present a problem, you've never had any disciplinary action, for the most part, you're a good employee, they just kind of move you up, right? But it takes a special type of someone to be able to lead and coalesce a team. Not everyone is built for that. Not everyone can do that effectively or efficiently, for that matter. It takes a special type of someone. You have to enjoy people. You have to like people. You have to like learning. You have to enjoy teaching. I've seen so many women and men that are in these positions and they just don't. It's like as soon as they get there, this ship can steer itself. They are absent. I'm trying to understand how you can be responsible for a unit or a division or a section or an agency, whatever your responsibility is, and you're not meeting with your people, or at least your supervisors, the people, whoever reports directly, you're not meeting with them on a regular basis. And in hats, you're setting the tone. So if you don't meet with them, chances are they probably are not going to be meeting with their people. Complete disregard for the importance of communication, complete disregard for the importance of just checking in, making sure your people are good, finding out what they need. Are you giving them everything that they need in order to do their job effectively? Chances are you aren't, if you're not meeting on a regular basis. And the other thing, bringing it back around, because sometimes I have a tendency to go off on a tangent, bear with me. people who are put into these positions, I don't care if you're in private or public sector, if your job is going to be being responsible for other people or having people underneath you, there needs to be some way of measuring, some way of testing whether or not this individual has the emotional IQ necessary to be a good leader. And I think that's one of the fundamental things that's missing when these people interview. Like, private sector, you interview with someone typically one-on-one. You might interview with the whole panel of the people. You might interview with a board. I've had to interview with a board before. You might interview with a board. If you're in public sector, typically you have, a panel of people. When you do an interview, you might have a panel of 3 or 4 people, and they're asking you questions. How would you do this? How would you do? They want to know the technical stuff, but the things that they, really should be asking is, how are you with people? Do you enjoy working with people? What would you say is your strongest asset when it comes to coalescing a team? Where are your weak points when it comes to training or when it comes to disciplinary action? You need to determine whether or not this person can lead. Just because they have, a bachelor's degree and a master's degree, and they've been with the company or the agency for, 5-10 years, does not mean that they have the necessary required to lead. It takes a special type of someone to be able to lead. That's why you have more sheep, right, in the world than anything else, because they follow. They'll follow a good leader if the person knows what they're doing. So I would challenge corporate America and public government sectors. You need to come up with a tool to make a determination on whether or not someone is equipped and has the skill sets necessary to lead, because you have to be able to coalesce people under you. You have to be able to have that something that people will gravitate towards you. People feel comfortable around you. People feel comfortable coming to you with questions. They feel safe when they're with you. They feel that they can ask anything and they won't be judged, right? You have to be able to exude that. Because if you don't, what you're going to end up finding out happening is that they say, I think in the last report, there were 9.1 million jobs currently that are available out there. There are more jobs available than there are people looking for jobs. That should tell you all something. And I know AI is right around the corner, but it ain't here yet. And until, your positions get to a point where, you can put AI robot in there, you're going to need people. So you better start looking at how can we bring the best person in here with the best skill sets, with the best emotional IQ, that can be a leader, that has the ability to coalesce our team, our people, bring them together so that we can effectively provide the services that we are providing, provide the commodities that we're providing, whatever it is that you provide to the public. You need to have someone and people in these positions that are going to be effective at leadership. Everyone can't lead. And when you leave it to a toss-up of who's been with the company the longest, or who has the most degrees on their CV or on their resume, you're taking a whopping big chance, because if you don't realize that people are not tolerating the mistreatment. That was one of the reasons why I left. I'll get into that in another video. Who are you talking to? Please don't hire people that don't know how to talk to employees. What's wrong with you? I had a supervisor that, something happened and it didn't even affect me. I wasn't the person responsible, but something happened. It left a bad taste in her mouth. It made the unit look bad in her eyesight. And she wanted to pull everybody in. Okay, that's great. Let's, you want to talk about that. But all these facial grimaces and we're not going to, come on. If you can't handle, or you don't know how to effectively manage your own emotions, what are you doing trying to lead others? Part of leadership is helping people manage and work through their own emotional stuff, baggage when it comes to work. So if you can't even effectively control your own emotions, how the hell are you going to be able to coalesce a team and manage other people? We were looking at her like she was crazy. All this facial grimacing and raising her voice and being demeaning and she had only been there 5 days. Let me put that out there. She just got there, okay? She just got off the 747. She just deboarded. And I saw this becoming repetitious. It was becoming secular. It was happening every day. And every day we had to have this telephone, and I just couldn't anymore. I was like, you know what? Nah. I'm too old. I've been out here a little bit too long. I have a little more self-respect. I know who I am as a person. I know what I can tolerate, and I also know what I absolutely am not going to tolerate, and disrespect is one of them. So here's mine. That was in April. So when I saw those numbers that said 4 million people quit their job in April, I was like, wow, I'm not the only one in a pandemic. I'm not crazy. That's where a lot of us fail in life, because we fail to acknowledge the fact that we deserve better. We deserve better. And there's a YouTuber that I follow called, I believe his name is Andrew Henderson. And I believe his channel is Nomad Capitalist. And he talks about, how he helps 7 and 8 figure entrepreneurs basically leave the country, leave the US, go on to other places. And his tagline is, go where you're treated best. And he's absolutely right. And even if you can't leave the US, if you're in a job where you are not valued, if you are in a job where you are not respected, if you are in a job where you are looked upon as chattel, meaning that you are very replaceable, they don't care about your happiness, your comfort, your feelings regarding your work. They don't care about any of that. Just push it out. If you're in a situation like that, then I wholeheartedly advise you to really take another look and ask yourself, is it worth it? Because if we haven't learned anything else over this past year and a half, what we should have learned, at least I know what I have learned, is that life is too short. You are here for a blink. And I know that there are a lot of things that you want to do, because there are a lot of things that I want to do. But you cannot be afraid to make that move. And especially if you know that you are someone like myself. I'm a creator. I've been a creator all my life. I'm creative. I'm a musician. I'm in the arts. I don't even know how I ended up doing what I was doing. I'll talk about that, like I said, in another video. But it is completely off my path. And that's another way. I'm talking about so many things right now. You have to forgive me. But, when it doesn't feel right, when you wake up in the morning and, you are not looking forward to going to work, I know when it's time for me to go. When I start a new job, I have a lot of energy. I'm excited about it. I can't wait to get there. I give it my all, and I can keep doing that because I have a lot of energy. But if I'm not getting that back reciprocally from my employer, where they're giving me what I'm giving them, then it's going, over a period of time, it's going to start to wane. I'm going to start to feel unappreciated, overlooked, disrespected, as far as not even necessarily personally, but my time. Because typically when you are someone that has that kind of energy, you'll give it everything you got. There have been plenty of days I've been in the office for 12 hours at different jobs. I don't even think anything about it, especially if I'm in a management position, because I'm going to do what has to be done to get it done, and I'm going to support my people. But you keep doing that, and people just completely disregard it, don't acknowledge it, overlook it, like it's expected. No. 40 hours a week is what that's what you should expect from me. And anything more than that, you need to acknowledge that you're seeing it, and you need to thank me for it, because I don't have to give it to you, especially if you're in public sector. Private sector can be a little different. But again, if you are in a position and you are not happy, and you wake up in the morning and you don't have joy, you don't look forward to going to work, what are you going there for? Seriously, ask yourself that. I was looking at a video about 10 minutes before I started this. Guy was talking about he delivered for DoorDash. He delivered for DoorDash for a week. I don't know how many hours. Probably he did a total of maybe 40 hours working, but you're on the clock, you're waiting for orders and all this. So maybe a total of 80 some hours, but he made like $1,100. I mean, ask yourself. Maybe you don't want to be, he spent $50 in gas, and I think he said he spent about $20 in food for the week. I mean, everything is not about titles, What do you do for a living? I'm this, that's not about what you do for a living. It's about how happy are you with your existence? If you have to work, do you want to work somewhere where you are miserable all the time for an extra couple of dollars an hour? Or would you rather be free to do something that maybe, is kind of mundane work, but you have peace? Because I'm telling you, stress will take you out of this world quicker than anything else. So think about that. And for those of you, again, who are in positions as supervisors or managers, please think about what you bring to the table and be honest with yourself. And if you find that you really are not bringing anything to the table, if you're not helping your unit, your team, your division, if you're not helping to coalesce people, to bring people together, to make their lives easier, because when your front line has what they need to be effective at their job, your customers are going to be very happy. If your front line's not happy, guess what? Your customers aren't going to be happy either, because they're going to pick up on that. When they come to a window and ask for something or need something, and the person is not really present because they're worrying about this, that, and the third that happened over here, and this bit of work that still needs to get done, and these new contracts that came slewing across it. Yeah, come on. What are you doing? How are you supporting your team? How are you coalescing your team? How are you improving communications amongst your team? How are you helping to share the workload? Are you a working manager, or are you a manager that stays in meetings from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. every single day, and you don't even do any work? I mean, meetings are work, yeah, but if your team needs you, if you have someone new that's doing something that they're not familiar with, are you training? Are you supporting them? Are you being patient? Do you have an open door policy? Can they come to you openly with questions and concerns in a non-judgmental atmosphere and get a response that will help them go along their way and get better at what they do? So again, they are sharing that knowledge and being more productive for your customer base. Are they getting that from you? If you're just in it for the paycheck or until you get retirement, do us all a favor, get the hell out. Because honestly, you serve no purpose. Your team, your unit, your division, your agency needs someone who is going to be present. They need someone who is going to be vested in the people in this department so that it can soar. If you're not going to be vested in your people, what purpose do you serve? Ask yourself that. There are a lot of people that are quitting right now, and honestly, maybe you should be one of them. That's all I have for today, lovelies. Thank you for coming back to my channel. Stay tuned. I'm gonna have some more videos coming out real soon. Take care. Brassy Black Sheep, I'm out.